We need to talk. What's good, everybody? It's Famous. I know you guys have not seen me in about... I actually don't know, but here it is. This is the last time I've made a video. Today's video is going to be the first video I've posted in a long time. Now, I'm kind of just making this video on a whim. I definitely want to explain my hiatus. But first, I just want to get my point across of what this video is about. This is just going to be about the state of gaming. Surprisingly enough, it's going to be about gamers' standards in today's world. But particularly, I want to talk about DLC. I want to talk about paid content versus free content, and I just want to talk about people's expectations in gaming in general. Long story short, just explain my hiatus. The last time I was releasing content on this channel, I was still doing part-time school. Around the last time that I uploaded, I had got really sick. I'm pretty sure it was the flu or strep throat, COVID, something in that family, but it was not good. The way I was treated at work while I was sick was horrible. They wanted me to come in even though I was dying, and I just didn't have that motivation to make any videos, obviously. But part of me was like, okay, well, once I'm feeling better, I'll start making videos. And then school came around, finals came around, like, okay, I need to focus. My life started rolling, and YouTube was just kind of took a back seat. Obviously, I have a very creative mind, and I'm always creating content. If you guys follow me on my socials right here, you would see that I'm always putting out content. I'm always putting out videos, been releasing a lot of music. That's been another reason of why YouTube took a back seat, just focusing a lot on music. But I'm glad I'm back. As you can see, I'm in a different setting. What's funny is that the last house that I was in, I made a vlog, and I have clips that I might show here. I was planning to put those together and make a kind of a setup video. The plan was to kind of get settled in and finish my setup and then make that video. Like I said, I was in school, so I just never got to it. And then we ended up moving out of that house. Not even a year after. This is my own crib. This is my own little place, kind of like a guest recreation house. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still with my family. I love my family. That's kind of been what's been going on with me. Now, going into this video, I'm not just going to be talking. I'm actually going to be playing some lovely Borderlands 4. I've never played a Borderlands game on my channel, but I've talked about it a little bit. I know the last series I was doing was my Cyberpunk playthrough, and I'm very sorry that I had to cut that short. It's not finished. I can always go back and finish it. So let me know down in the comments if you guys want that, or you can leave a like on the video and let me know if you guys still want to see that. But I've always expressed how much I've loved Borderlands. I have like 2,000 hours probably on Borderlands 3. Surprisingly enough, I got into the Borderlands series by playing Borderlands 2 VR. Okay, not Borderlands 1, not Borderlands 2. I played Borderlands 2 VR first. Now, if you know anything about Borderlands 4, Gearbox, and what's going on, the game is in a weird state. The game itself is actually pretty complete. It's finished, it's good, lots of build variety, but at the same time, the end game kind of looks the same for a lot of characters and a lot of players. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the DLC, the post-launch content, and in-game as well. Right now I'm playing Rafa. I already finished my Amon build, and I don't play on mouse and keyboard, so don't cook me, but I'm here to talk about the DLC and the in-game. So far for post-launch content, they've released the Halloween update, and as of now, that is completely gone. You can no longer access the 2 new weapons that they added, okay, or items, shall I say, for the Halloween update. And you want to know the content that you had to do to get that. Around the map, there are these bubbles that can spawn as you travel around the map. They're called rift events, and in those rift events, there are world bosses. They can spawn any boss in the game within that bubble. If you leave that bubble, it despawns. If you die, it despawns. So the Halloween event was basically between a certain period of time, you go to these bubbles, they have increased spawn rates or whatever. If you kill that boss, you get a supply drop. These supply drops, they come in here. As you can see, Rift to Justice, dynamic event. That's essentially what the Halloween event was. You basically had a chance to get the legendary assault rifle, which you can watch videos on it. It's dog shit. There, you can't really make a build out of it. And then there's a grenade, which was dog shit. The grenade was actually bugged at launch, and then when they fixed it, the grenade was still dog shit. And that's it. That's all the Halloween event was. There was blood rain that would come down as you were in the bubble and got closer to it, and that's it. No special enemies, no raid boss like we got in Borderlands 3. In Borderlands 3, you got a whole raid boss event. You had to work your way towards that by collecting like ectoplasm. You got to go to an entirely new map. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is because this is free content. We got a roadmap on this game pretty early, before the game came out on Borderlands 4. So we knew what we were getting, but we didn't know exactly what. They had a bigger budget for this game than they did Borderlands 3. It was a free content update. It was just a little Halloween event, but when you compare it to the previous game, it's not an upgrade or an improvement in any shape or form. It was a complete disappointment, and it's even more disappointing that you can't even get those items anymore. Sure, they might do something later on in the life cycle like they did Borderlands 3 where you can just switch it on and you can get it. It doesn't justify what's happening right now. because you're setting a precedent for the rest of the events that you're coming, free or not. And that brings me to my next point, is that tomorrow, Thursday, as you're watching this video, it's already out, but there is a Christmas DLC. Now this DLC is going to be the equivalent of a headhunter, like Borderlands 2. Now, from what I know, those headhunters costed $5. This one costs $10. So at the time of recording this video, they have since made the DLC free to play on launch day. You do not have to purchase the first bounty pack in order to get the vault card or the story DLC. This is going to change the course of the video just a bit, but all my opinions and claims still stand. Borderlands 2 had a Halloween headhunter. They had the Waddle Gobbler headhunter. They had the Mercenary Day especially, because that's exactly what we're getting. Rush saves Mercenary Day. In Borderlands 2, you got the snowman that you could kill. In the end, you got a chest farm, you know, a farmable thing, you know what I'm saying? It was fun, memorable, and it was $5. Given it didn't add any unique items from what I'm aware, I believe, you know, cosmetics and stuff, which Borderlands 4 has. It's like that's what they're compensating. They're just kind of giving us a bunch of cosmetics to, like, just as filler, you know, and then just give us shit weapons. Now there is pearlescent rarity coming in, so there might be, you know, a lot of trash legendaries to make up room for, you know, good pearlescents, and these are things that you have to think of. But my main point is that a lot of people are taking a look at this Borderlands 4 Rush Saves Mercenary Day headhunter. They're taking a look at the trailer. They're seeing that it just looks like a order bunker rescanned to be Christmas themed. You know, when I look at it with my eyes, I see the exact same thing. It's very hard to judge when you don't have, you know, gameplay from like a developer or, you know, a playtester like IGN or something like that. You know, you kind of just have to test it yourselves. You know, it's going to be out by the time I'm making this video, so we'll see the true damage that this caused. I'm here to kind of be the mediator in all of this, because a lot of people are shitting on it already before they've even gotten it. And that's the problem with gaming today. Our expectations are so high because we've been so spoiled with all of this free-to-play game, all these free-to-play games, all these free updates, free content updates, that when we get a game that has a roadmap, that has things planned, they have big updates, they have small DLC, they have big DLC. The expectation of gamers is that, hey, if I'm spending any amount of money, I should be getting a huge return. I should be getting content that should keep me on the game for a while. And people think that, oh, you're spending your hard-earned $10 to get this DLC, we should have unique items. Yes, I agree. We should have more than just a replayable order bunker. Yes, I agree. These are things that we should have. Hopefully we actually have to go to somewhere else and not just Kairos. Hopefully it's not just one order bunker. Hopefully we do have unique enemies. Hopefully we do have a unique boss that has unique drops. These are things that I'm hoping for, but we just have to see. But my main thing being is that they're so scared to justify this $10 spent before it's even came out. $10 is the equivalent of the lunch that you bought yesterday. Do you remember the food that you bought last week? No, I can guarantee you it was more than $10, and you ate that and it was gone the same day. You're paying $10 for this DLC. Now, given I think it's $40 for the pack, you know, divide that by 4, you get 10. They're also dropping vault cards with these. I'm not even sure if that's included with the paid content or not, which you do get unique items in that vault card. So that's good. You spend $10, you get that content, that Rush Saves Mercenary Day. You get that. You get to play that content on all your characters forever. You also get this vault card that you can continuously evolve and put your points into and re-roll forever for $10. The cost of, you know, a McDonald's quarter pounder meal, the cost of some Wingstop, you know, the cost of a fucking, you know, a 6-pack of beer. It's like, bro, these are things that you just blow your money on without even thinking. But when it comes to a game that you play every day, you know, a company that, you know, isn't doing the best. You know, Gearbox, they started off strong with the updates and the patch notes, and then they kind of slowed down, and then they started not listening to us. Gearbox, you know, it's always been a kind of a love-hate relationship with the community. It's just the state that it's in, and all we can do is voice our opinion. But it's not just about Gearbox, it's about games in general. People expect so much out of DLC if they're paying any amount for it. They just expect, hey, if this content isn't free, I'm not paying for it. There's things like Call of Duty where, given Call of Duty is in a very bad state with Black Ops 7, it was, you know, basically dead on arrival. They changed their DLC model to the point where, hey, you're gonna get free content updates. You're not gonna have to pay for DLC. You're not gonna have to pay for these maps anymore. You're not gonna have to pay for these guns anymore. You can unlock them for free on a certain patch day. Everybody gets these maps. Everybody gets this. Everybody gets that free content update, battle pass, okay? Fortnite, okay? I'm not gonna say Fortnite ruined gaming, but it definitely revolutionized it into what it is now. There's bad things that it implemented and there's good things that it implemented. All these different developers and studios are kind of just taking ideas from each other. And some people just completely botch it, and some people actually develop their own good grounded model of what they want or a game in post-launch and what it looks like. Call of Duty has been doing free content updates for the longest, and the way they make their money, cosmetics. And cosmetics are completely optional. You know, these companies have to make a decision on where do they want to make their money. Me personally, Borderlands 4, I bought the Super Deluxe Edition. Okay, so I'm gonna have all the Vault Hunters, I'm gonna have all the DLC, I'm gonna have all the bounty packs. So I can just sit back, relax, wait till they drop, and I'll have it. Not everybody's gonna want to spend that 140 though. And you don't have to. Just wait and see. People expect so much. People expect so much out of DLC for a game that's before it's even came out, and especially if it's gonna cost some money. The only thing that you should have expectations for is that $40, $30 DLC. I don't know how much it's gonna cost, but the main story DLCs, you're gonna have 4 of them. That's what you got to get ready for. That you can sit back and judge, because these are gonna have complete stories, complete side quests, tons and tons and tons of new items, new farmable bosses. It's gonna be, you know, an actual DLC. Now, this kind of brings me back to something I was thinking about earlier, and that's that DLC around 2008, around the 360 days, that's when DLC actually meant a lot. That's when no matter how much you paid, you were getting a lot in return. Look at Borderlands 2, for example. The headhunters, they were $5, and you got a lot of farms out of it. And then the main story DLCs, Tina DLC, I mean, it meant so much. The DLC meant so much to these games. I'm just using Borderlands as an example, but it meant so much to these games to the point where they had to re-release the Game of the Year edition or the Handsome Collection with the DLC because of how much the DLC made the game. And that doesn't go for just Borderlands. It goes for a lot of games, like Call of Duty, for example. Firing Range, a lot of these like iconic maps, you had to pay for them back in the day. You know, the Peacekeeper, these weapons, I mean, you had to pay for these things. I think of things like Infamous, when Infamous dropped their DLC, Batman, and just games like that where the DLC meant so much. It transformed what the game was to the point where some games had to re-release it with the DLC. You know, a lot of kids at the time couldn't, you know, obviously couldn't afford to buy the game twice, essentially. You know, you had to buy the game for $60, and then the DLC would usually cost like 20 to 40. All right, fuck this. I'm going to controller, bro. I cannot do mouse keyboard. But the DLC meant so much in these games that it would just transform the entire meaning of what the game was. Nowadays, I would say around Black Ops 3, I'm just using, you know, games that I play for an example. Obviously, there's tons and tons of other games. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is like one of the newest games where the DLC, they took their time. They didn't just drop the game and, oh, we're losing players. It's an RPG. We're losing players. We need to drop something in order to keep retention. No, that's what a lot of these games are doing. We didn't get takedowns on launch. The end game is non-existent. What players expected going from Borderlands 3 to Borderlands 4 was a takedown at launch. We didn't get that. We still don't have it. We're not going to get it for quite some time. But you know what we do get? Hey, Rush saves Mercenary Day. The reason why people should not be so upset about that is that it's $10. You pay $10 for some food and it's gone. But you pay $10 for this and you'll have it forever, and you don't have to say, oh, I regret buying this, you know? Do you regret buying the food that you bought yesterday? If it was bad and gave you food poisoning, maybe. But no, I mean, you needed that food to survive. You were hungry, so you bought it. You know, I don't regret I bought McDonald's today. I don't regret it. I was hungry and nobody, you know, I was gonna cook, so I bought it. And guess what? $1.90 something cents more, I can buy the Headhunter. But back to what I was saying about the old school DLCs. People didn't have expectations of these DLCs because it was foreign at the time, you know. But not only was it foreign, but these developers were putting their all into these DLCs. These developers would actually, you know, take their time. Where am I going? These developers would actually take their time, assess the game, see where it's going, release the DLC in a timely manner. I mean, some of these games will release the DLC maybe a year later because they don't plan for a sequel to come out anytime soon, but they release a DLC that's going to keep players on their game for a much longer time. DLCs just meant so much more back in the day because it would add so much to the game, and nowadays that doesn't happen. You look at Fortnite for an example. I mean, the Simpsons update, it's only going to last for what, 3.5 weeks or something like that, and it's gone forever. That's something that gets players back on the game just for a little bit, just to get their numbers up, just so that they're satisfied. Epic Games. And that goes for a lot of games that follow the battle pass system, but that's not how every multiplayer game should act. That's not how any game should act, where every few months you know, you see a player surge. If your game is good, players are going to keep playing it. Look at Arc Raiders for an example. It's been out, you know, given it hasn't been out for longer than 3 months, but Marvel Rivals, I mean, these are games that have had a huge, you know, spike in players when it came out, and just a huge dip because of the battle pass model that it follows, and it is free to play. Just to circle back to my main point, gamers need to lower their expectations. Yes, it's 2025 and developers are only getting more and more resources to make better games, but it doesn't give gamers an excuse to hold them and put them on this pedestal that they have to live up to, you know, because at the end of the day, the developers are learning just like us. You know, we are the consumers. If the Headhunter costed any more than $10, I would have a problem with it, because it is just a glorified order bunker. But that's all that we've seen. We haven't had it in our hands yet. Nobody has played this. So until then, we can't say shit about it, other than just what it looks like, face value. You know, it doesn't look good on the outside, but none of us have played it. None of us know what it's actually going to be, what it's actually going to add. As long as it adds a new weapon, a new boss, I think it's worth the $10. It's gonna have some type of story involved, and to me, that makes it worth the $10. And plus the vault card, that's going to add content for the rest of the game. It costs the same as your lunch. It costs the same as a meal. Okay, so nobody should be putting this DLC on a pedestal, thinking that it's a huge story DLC that should be played for for years and years to come. It's not Tiny Tina DLC. Oh, I got a legendary. Oh shit. It's not Torg DLC. Ow. It's not Captain Scarlet DLC. It's none of that. It is a Headhunter. Let's treat it as such. I don't see this $10 on a Borderlands 4 DLC being useless. Even if it doesn't add barely anything, it's $10. Okay, you buy a $20 Fortnite skin every other week, don't you? Yeah, I know you. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up with that. Take it how you want. It was more of a rant. I wanted to keep it structured, but I hope I didn't go on too many tangents. You know, you can spend your money how you want. $40 worth of skins, go ahead. You buy this for $10, you're gonna have it forever. So I don't see that as a bad investment. You know, like I said, I paid the $140, so I have all of it when it does come out. You just bought the base game, and this goes for any game. You have the advantage and the leverage to wait and see when these things come out, to see if you truly want it, and if you don't need to buy it. We're in a season of very good games. There's just so many good games out there. If you're gonna spend your money, how about spend your money on a different game? How about, you know, go and try something else, because you don't need to buy that $20-$40 skin. You don't need to buy $60 worth of whatever currency you're buying. Go and buy a DLC for a game that you haven't played in a minute. You can go and try out this one game that this streamer is playing, or that your friends are playing. Go and have some fun and try different games. You know, you're not confined into this one space where you have to spend money. You don't. Keep your standards low when it comes to these games. They're just games at the end of the day. Do your research, have fun, and I appreciate y'all listening. If you guys want to see some Borderlands 4 content, I know I didn't really play a lot. There's a lot of talking, but if you guys would like to see a playthrough or something like that, a challenge run, I would definitely love to do that. If you guys want me to finish up the Cyberpunk playthrough or do anything else, let me know. I love you guys. Peace out.